When you think about cavities, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's sugar, right? The more sugar you eat, the worse it is for your teeth. Simple. Well, what if I told you the real story is a little more complicated, and that the biggest threat to your teeth isn't necessarily how much sugar you eat, but how you eat it? Okay, let's get into this.
To really wrap our heads around this, let me just ask you a question. Let's imagine you have two choices for a sweet treat during your day.
Okay, so on one hand, you could scarf down an entire chocolate bar, get it all over with in, say, 5 minutes. On the other hand, you could have just one sugary coffee, but you sip it really slowly over a couple of hours. Now, your gut instinct is probably screaming that the chocolate bar is the bad guy here, right? I mean, it's a whole bar. But believe it or not, the science tells a totally different story. So let's pull back the curtain on this sweet misconception. What decades of dental research has shown us might actually change the way you think about snacking forever.
And the answer is the coffee. I know, right? Sipping that sweet drink over a long period is actually way more damaging to your teeth than eating a bigger pile of sugar all at once. And the reason for this all comes down to one thing: time. It's that long, continuous exposure to sugar that creates the perfect storm for tooth decay.
And look, this isn't some brand new crazy idea. It's actually a key finding from this massive landmark study in Sweden called the Vipeholm Study. This thing ran for a whole decade, and it completely flipped our understanding of diet and cavities on its head. Their conclusion was crystal clear. How often you hit your teeth with sugar is so much more important than the total amount you eat in one go.
So what is really going on inside your mouth every single time you snack or take a sip of that coffee? Well, to understand that, we need to zoom in and look at the battlefield on a microscopic level, because it is a constant war between acid and your body's own natural defenses.
To track this battle, scientists have this really cool tool called the Stephan Curve. You can think of it like a play-by-play graph showing the acidity, or the pH level, inside your mouth right after you eat something. And what it shows is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it really is like a roller coaster. Every time you eat or drink things with fermentable carbohydrates, and that's not just sugar, we're talking starches and crackers and bread too, the bacteria in your mouth just go to town. They have a feast. And their waste product, it's acid. This makes the pH in your mouth just plummet. It's like a steep drop into an acidic danger zone. And that roller coaster has a very specific danger zone. The number you need to remember is pH 5.5. This is what scientists call the critical pH. The moment your mouth gets more acidic than this, your tooth enamel, that hard, shiny, protective outer layer, it literally starts to demineralize. It starts to dissolve. That is how a cavity gets its start.
Okay, but the good news is your body isn't helpless, right? You've got this amazing built-in defense system, your saliva. Your saliva is packed with stuff that neutralizes that acid and brings your pH back up to a safe level. But, and this is a huge but, it's not instant. It can take a good 20 to 40 minutes to recover. And here's the problem. Every time you take another sip of that coffee or have another cracker, you restart the clock on that acid attack. You're keeping your teeth in that demineralization danger zone for way, way longer.
So now that we know the rules of the game, we can start sorting foods into different teams. Are they attackers, are they defenders, or are they just kind of hanging out on the sidelines?
So first up, you've got your cariogenic foods. These are the attackers. And again, this isn't just candy and sweets. It's also things like crackers, chips, and breads. Then you have the cariostatic foods. These are the bystanders, things like meat, fish, and eggs. The bacteria and plaque just can't break them down, so they don't cause that pH drop. And finally, you've got the good guys, anti-cariogenic foods. These are the defenders, like cheese and nuts, that can actually help protect your teeth.
And among all the attackers, there is one supervillain that stands out: sucrose. We're talking plain old table sugar. What makes it so bad is that it pulls double duty. Not only do bacteria use it to pump out acid, they also use it to create the sticky stuff that helps plaque glue itself to your teeth, which just makes the whole problem worse.
All right, so we get the problem, we know the science, we've met the villains. Now for the part you've been waiting for. What can we actually do about all this? Well, here is your simple, actionable playbook to defend your dental health.
First, and this is the big one, just reduce how often you eat. Try to keep your eating to distinct meals so you limit the number of acid attacks your teeth have to deal with each day. Second, pair your foods smartly. If you eat something from the attacker list, try to finish your meal with a defender, like a piece of cheese, to help neutralize things. Third, try to avoid super sticky foods that hang around on your teeth for a long time. And fourth, this is a great tip, choose sugar-free gum right after you eat to kick your saliva production into high gear.
So why is chewing gum such a great hack? Well, it's pretty simple. The physical act of chewing literally flips a switch on your salivary glands, making them produce way more saliva. You can think of it like turning on your mouth's natural rinse cycle. That extra flow helps wash away food bits and, most importantly, it neutralizes that acid much faster, cutting down the time your teeth spend in that pH danger zone.
And hey, if you can find gum with a sugar substitute called xylitol, that's like a superpower. The bad bacteria in your mouth can't ferment it, so it doesn't create any acid at all. And what's even cooler, some studies show xylitol can actually stop the growth of the specific bacteria that cause cavities. So it's a total win-win.
So when you put all this together, you realize that protecting your teeth isn't about declaring war on sugar or getting rid of your favorite foods. It's really about developing a new mindset, what some researchers call sugar discipline.
There's this quote from the research that just nails it. The goal is not to exclude sugar from the diet, but rather to make the patient eat sugar in a sensible way. It's not about deprivation. It's about being strategic with when and how you have sugar, not just saying no all the time.
So if there is one thing you walk away with today, let it be this. If you're going to have that piece of cake or that sugary drink, the absolute best time to have it is with your main meal. By grouping your sugar intake into just a few times a day, you contain those acid attacks. You give your saliva plenty of time to work its magic and bring your mouth back to a safe, neutral state. So, the next time you go to grab a snack or a sweet drink, I bet you'll think about it a little differently. You're not just thinking about calories anymore, you're thinking about the clock you're starting in your mouth. So now that you know the science, how are you going to rethink your next snack?